It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity. It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity.
So Hank, what do you find out?
Hello, battle citizens. I'm doing too many things at once,
I don't know.
and I'm listening to YouTube, and I forgot to. Oh, and I got the audio on. I upgraded to Windows 11 today, and I'm trying to figure stuff out, and it's been a little bit of an adventure. My participants list isn't working, so I don't know who's here. So I'm gonna try and just go through the list and just read it out old school, and we'll go from there. But I don't know what's gonna happen. Things could go well, things could go wrong. I just I don't know how much empty space there was at the beginning. I had too many windows open. Let's oh boy. Let's see who's here today. We've got John from Schuylkill River Valley, Steve 87th PSAP. We got John Mystic Southern Railway. We got Gary Creepy 013. Dude's Model Trains is here. Mike Rail Artist says, for me, doing one thing at a time is sometimes too much. We've got Rebel Cascade Southern Model Trains. We've got K&R Custom Models. We've got Andy Step. We got Stephen Wigwag Workshop. Fred Wild's in the house. Andrew Mr. Pictovid is here as well. Stephanie Paul's joining us. Joe Rader, Black Rock Central Railroad. Norman Rose in the house. Let's see who else is here. Ken Amos Jr. B&O 51 is here as well. Pensy Kanama Division. I don't know how to pronounce that. I'm probably completely messing that up. Did I say hello to Lynn McCurdy and the High Desert Modular Model Railway Club? I think I got that. We got Rayron VR in the house. Let's see who else is here. Stream Elements joining us as well. Steve 87th PSAP. I don't think I said your name yet. I think I got most of you. I apologize. It's, I thought I had everything tested. I thought everything was working, and apparently I missed a couple things. So a little bit what I'm doing tonight is I'm moving some of what I thought I was going to do on Wednesday to today. And on Wednesday, I'm going to go back to something I started doing when I originally started the Tech Tuesday or Tech Wednesdays. And that was, I'm going to try and get the guest stuff working. Sorry, I'm more distractions. I gotta stop looking at other stuff. I gotta turn that screen off. Say hello to Ron Brights. Marty from M&M Short Lines is here. Yeah, so I got trains running behind me. I don't know if people can hear them or not. There's the Z scale. I got the Z scale steam locomotive, which I think is pretty incredible. Watching the little wheels turn on that thing. And then for Roy Eltham, although I don't think I saw him yet, I've got my solar locomotive leading my 3 Constellation boxcars that I just got in. When did they come in? Yesterday? Something like that. But that's a new series that Microtrains is just releasing. And the first thing... yes. Does anything ever not fall apart? Exactly. And just to be clear, I didn't update it. I actually had a friend update it for me, because I don't trust myself really. So that's yeah. I got some help, but even with help, didn't quite make it. So one of the things that I want to do tonight that it could just work. I could put the train on the track and it might just work. Or it might not work. And that's that Scale Trains Operator series back there. That was a gift from Containerman68, Roy Hardwick. He sent that to me and it ran fantastic for the first little bit. And no issues with it. And then I'm not sure exactly what happened, but all of a sudden it started stopping 2 feet before the end of the track. And I don't know why it was doing that, but I reached out to the manufacturer of the controller and they said, try adding a length of wire between the controller and the track. The theory, I think, being that maybe some of the electronics in the locomotive might be messing up something in the controller, and it's basically shorting out. When it gets within 2 feet of the controller, it shorts out. Now, it worked for a while, so it could just work. Maybe I went to Windows 11 a little too quickly, but there's a reason I went to Windows 11. It's to take advantage of one of the features of Windows 11. Everything's basically working. I mean, all the cameras are all working. So things are like happening. Well, what's not happening though, and let me see if I can just move this over here. And we'll see if this works. But so when you have a chat window up, right? Normally you can type. Oh, there we go. Normally you can type like @ and then like somebody's name, and it pops up and it auto fills in. So that that's all great. But if I try and type in like let's see, Steve just posted something, right? If I try and type in @Steve, it doesn't autofill the rest of the name. So something isn't right. And the other thing is, if I go here and look at the participants list, according to the participants list, I'm the only one streaming tonight. There's literally nobody here but me. I'm talking to an empty void, which is probably a little more realistic. Stick with Windows 10 as long as possible. Windows 11 lets the aliens see you. Ooh, I kind of like that. The New York City still runs fantastic. What could be the issue is the board for the lighting has a bunch of like circuitry on it, and I don't know if that's a little bit weird. I got a DCC Concepts alpha meter, which is something I highly recommend. You can get them at Iron Planet Hobbies. Fantastic. But that also shorted out the unit. So I think there's something about having electronics after this controller that kind of shorts stuff out. Yeah, I mean, Mr. Tobin says we aren't really here. You finally lost it. So I'm just gonna keep talking, and I'm used to talking to myself. I mean, it kind of feels like I'm still talking to myself. This is funny too. Ken Amos says this. Yeah, I mean, things like CNC machines and some of that older technology, you know, you're better off just leaving it be. Just let it ride. Just let it ride. You are not a void. You might be in a void. The other thing that's really awesome about this new setup, and then I'm gonna go grab that. I'm gonna grab that scale trains thing and unbox it. And you know my unboxings are quick, so we'll get that thing out of the box real quick and get that back on the track. But one of the things I do like is I can click a comment now, and I can look up here, and I can actually see the comment now right here. So like Cascade says, I got a new loco yesterday, an Athearn F59 PHI painted in Southern Pacific Fantasy Scheme. So I like that I can now look in that direction and actually read the chat comments. Lynn says, you know, I'm always here, even when I'm not, I'm here. Lynn was, I think, the first one here, arrived an hour or so early. So yeah, he was here. As long as you don't end up in a picto void. That does sound like a dangerous place. So let me grab this scale trains car and bring it over to the desk. And yes, part of the problem could be that this is a Southern Pacific train, and the Southern Pacific train, just for whatever reason, doesn't want to run on my, you know, Northeast Railroad. But yeah, this is a really cool looking car. It's a red nose. I got it because, you know, clowns have red noses, and well, I should say I didn't get it, but Roy Hardwick got it for me because it's got the red clown nose. So yeah, so let's I love N scale. You just open up the jewel case and it kind of comes out. This has this whole thing. I know it's technically called a bloody nose, but I like it. I like thinking of it as a red nose. Oh, and here's something too. I just realized, and now doing what I just did, I may have lost it. No, here it is. There's like pieces falling off the train. I don't know what they're for. That's Rayron VR. The only company you need to remove details to make it run smooth. Yeah, and I've got these two items here that have already fallen off the train that I'm not sure where they go. So I'll need to figure that out as well. Yes, Norman Rowe, he did kind of have that natural clown nose. But yeah. So we'll put these aside because I'm sure these go somewhere. I just don't know where. The problem with the SP is that it's too clean. It can't run clean. The real ones came from the paint shop leather. That's probably true. Containerman 68, what are we blaming Heath tonight so far? Well, Containerman, I've got your locomotive on my table right now, and I am trying to figure out, one, where these parts that fell off of it go, and the other thing is, we're going to see if it runs or not. I think I know the solution. I think I know what's wrong, but it stopped running the whole length of the track, and it only runs like 6 out of the 8 feet. So, yeah, it is like a brandy nose. That's true. One of those is likely a rotating bearing cap. Yeah, see, like, I don't know, where does a rotating bearing cap go? Oh, here we go. Mike is saying one is a step, the other is a bearing cap / center. The round one could be the sand fill hatch. parts falling off happens in all scales. Well, I did this the Z scale locomotive that you see right here did take a flying leap off the layout and landed on the ground, and there were pieces everywhere. And that's Z scale. Is it really just from like brandy or something like that? Oh, here we go. Mark says operator don't have bearing caps. Rotating bearing cap goes on the trucks. All right, let's get this out of here. This unboxing could take all day if I Oh yeah, my dad came to visit yesterday, saw the studio. Got to see just how small it is. Yeah, exactly. The bonus of a barely detailed Bachmann is there's no parts to fall off. They're all molded. So let's see. At least I didn't knock the horns off, which on my N scale F units, I've knocked the horns off of almost every single one of them. So we think it's, oh, look at that. Oh. So it's actually missing. Let's see if we can zoom in or not. Let's see if the camera's going to cooperate. You can see there's actually 2 bearing caps missing, but I seem to only have 1. So this is a, so this piece goes, boy, that's hard to get on. Here we go. So there is a little flat spot I see. So I guess the question is, why did these fall off? And the other question it would be, where did the other one go? This is hard. I don't know if this is quite as hard as making a palette out of paper, but I don't know that I had that lined up right. Why do I have a feeling this could take me all night just to put this one bearing cap back in? I will say this is kind of a nice detail that it's a separate piece. Was it packaged well? Did you jostle it around? I probably did it, I mean, it was packaged well, you know, when I got it. I may have knocked it off with my handling, which is always possible. Lynn McCurdy says, just a great way to keep Heath entertained. Send him a locomotive with extra parts, but not the parts he's missing. Yeah, that's just mean, Lynn. Oh, it is a step. I see the step that's missing now as well. Oh, really? Joe Rader says contact scale trains and they'll send extras. I don't know if I want the extras because I can't seem to I can't even seem to get this one in. I feel like I'm lining up the flat in the right spot, but it's just not going in. I don't know if it's an E step, but I found where it goes. It goes, trying to get it out of the box now. Here it is. So the missing step goes back here. Of course, it's not focusing, but the missing step goes right here. I wish this camera would focus. There we go. This is no. Heath said that was mean, but he was laughing. Yeah, that's true. Drew Dude Trains, my life's track. The trucks are very detailed, but I don't think switching the side frames out compared to the river counter saved any money. Yeah, I don't know. This is the operator series. And I'm guessing the rivet counter series has more details, right? But this is I mean, this is detailed. Let's Norman Road, don't worry about it. Just tape it to the inside of the lid. That's what I do. Just wait till the side rails come loose. Thanks, Lynn. I don't know why, but I'm like feeling like I really want to get this in. I don't know, like I don't know why I'm torturing myself trying to do this on camera right now. But oh, there we go. Okay, one down. Although it looks like it's gonna, yeah, it just fell out again. Oh, so you're saying that I should blame Jason for this stuff falling off on me? Is that what you're telling me? We're just gonna run this train. I'm gonna put these pieces back in the box. Put these in the box. I don't know too, like here's another little plastic piece. I don't know what this plastic piece is. I don't know if that's part of it. I don't know what's happening. So I'm gonna take this back there. I'm gonna put it on. Yeah. Yes, my OCD is completely kicking in. And Containerman says Freak said that to buy this for me. Oh, that bearing cap is probably press fit. You need to grab your sack while installing it. Oh, there you go. You need to get that bearing cap on the axle, not just in the truck. Yeah, I realize. I realize that it is like it's a whole thing. It just doesn't seem to be sitting in there at all. But that's good to know. So if I send a message to Scale Trains, they'll just send me another one because I seem to be missing. I'm missing two and I only have one. So let's go back here. I'm gonna put this on the HO track and we'll see if it still does the same thing where it stops 2 feet from the end. There was some date in the 70s that those running board end steps were banned. So maybe the engine's after that date. So what you're saying is I should just pull off the other, all the other ones, and then go from there. Yeah, there's a lot of detail on this thing. Let's go back here. All right. We're gonna put this on the track. Knocking anything over. Plugging it in. So yep, see, it did it again. So you see where it stopped? It keeps stopping in this spot. So if I pull it back, right, it's going to stop right in this exact same spot. Right like that. And then if I hit the sensor and then move it back, there. Now it'll go in the other direction. It'll return and it'll come back. So excuse me. Woo. I probably will need a magnifier to install them correctly. You guys are watching the football game. So see, so it stops in that exact spot every time. Right? There's no difference, and I run it multiple times to check it. So I'm controlling this with a Iowa Scale Engineering motorman. And what they suggested is, I think what they're implying is that if I add more wire, which will add more resistance, that it stops 2 feet short. Or like if I add 2 feet of wire, that additional resistance will help. So, yes, it stops before the rerailer, but I have I've taken all the track apart. I've switched all the track around. I've, changed different pieces. I've fed it from the other end. Any other locomotive works, right? So this is this was the gift from Lynn McCurdy. So people are asking, people are saying check with another engine. So I'll use this locomotive. Come back with me. We'll pop this locomotive on. I'm so worried about touching that locomotive and having parts fall off. So plugging it in now. So now let's keep an eye on that train, and we'll see what that locomotive does. Yeah, it does. It just seems to short it out, and Iowa Scale Engineering thinks it's a resistance issue. How about other locomotives? Do the other locomotives have an issue at that point? This one. Oops. Wasn't on the track. So you'll see that guy goes right by, no problem. Doesn't stop, just goes all the way to the end. It's not hitting the sensor yet. It's just shorting out when it gets to a certain point. So yeah, so I've done that. I took the track out in the middle, I swapped it around, I changed everything, and any change that I make, it stops 2 feet from the track feed. So what they suggested, Shane says, knowing scale trains have probably arrived with loose parts. So, you can see this guy running, but so what we're going to do is I'm going to take this wire here, and I'm going to add this wire between the controller and the locomotive, and we'll see if it fixes it. It's DC. And the reason why I say it's shorting out is because if you put a multimeter on it, when the train gets to that point in the track, the Iowa Scale Engineering says fault, and the voltage goes to 0. So the motorman thinks there's a fault. It's drawing too much power and failing. But how would it be drawing too much power? Well, or I should say, why is it drawing too much power when it gets closer? So I'm gonna do what Iowa Scaled Engineering suggests, which is put this wire in. So let's move this. I'm gonna move this camera so that we can see this. We can see me doing this. Let's see. Okay. So there's that corner, right? We can see that corner now. And it's going back and forth. And I'm going to take get my pliers out. I'm going to find, here we go. So, got wire strippers. Wire. Come on. I've got too much stuff in a lot of these drawers. It's really hard to what's the better view to watch for fire from? Oh, this view here. You guys think it's the missing parts? So here's what I'm gonna build. So I'm taking another lever nut, taking another one of these lever nuts and the wire, and I'm just gonna make it longer. And according to Iowa Scaled Engineering, if this works, they know what the solution is. Z. What do I make up, Z? Are you saying I make it up or somebody else makes it up? Does anyone else have these issues? I don't know. Iowa Scaled Engineering seemed to know what the issue was pretty darn quickly when I told them the problem. So let's so we're gonna put this back on the track. Oh, so here's something we'll do. Just to sort of show that it's not an overpower, or it's not like a too much power thing, I'm gonna leave both of these HO locomotives on, and we'll see if when the Scale Trains one stops, what the other one does or not. Vinny, the steam train is Z scale. I think he sabotages his own projects for clickbait. No, definitely not. Z, he reels us in every time. Yeah, Lynn, I mean that New York Central's amazing. Okay, let me so I think that both of these trains are going to run until the Scale Trains hits that same spot, and then both trains stopped. Did you see that? So both trains are moving until the Scale Trains hits that one spot, and they both stop. That's why I think it's a short too, is because that wouldn't happen. Oh. So let me strip some wire. Yeah, creepy. I've done some stuff. I've taken some classes on how to fix like moving lights for like theatrical moving lights and stuff. And they do the same thing, as they'd intentionally break them. So you'd have to trace out the problem and figure it out. So I do have the other kind of wire strippers, but I'm just using the little cheap ones today because these are what I found first. So we're gonna, short is not the right word. It's a fault. Yeah, correct. It doesn't short out. It faults out, and the breaker in the Iowa Scaled Engineering Motorman trips because it senses a short, is what it seems to be happening. All right, so let's see. So here we go. I got these wires. We're gonna put these in. So this, let me get rid of that comment. The rant in the next hour. Did the hole in the wall get fixed? Barry, don't ask me that question. I don't want to answer that question. I don't want to know. I don't want to talk about it. So right here is the cable that feeds the track. So I'm going to insert this extra length into here. Plug it. And okay, so I added this one in, and we're going to go to the end of this. Plug this in here. So I've just added like 4 feet of wire. So we're going to back this guy up, and we're going to plug him in. And now we'll see where he goes. Ken Amos says it's sensing current draw above what it wants, doesn't necessitate a short though. When does it all start smoking? I don't know that it does. So, I mean, so is that what it is? That when the train gets too close, it like what is it doing? I mean, can someone explain this to me? I added wire, and now it runs fine. The Z train makes me nervous too, Norman. Z says it starts smoking when Heath can't figure it out. He sets it on fire. All right, so who can explain this to me? Why does it work? The only thing I did was added more wire. Why? Why does that work? Why does adding just that little bit of additional resistance make a difference? Steven says, hold the new wires up to the underside of the layout and see if it stops again. True dudes, that's what I'm trying to understand. How does adding wire length fix this? I don't know. Oh, yeah, here we go. So I think this is what Steven wants, right? Is holding the wire up underneath. Because that's what I thought too, that maybe it was some magnetic field thing. But like it's, I don't know. I don't understand it. Yeah, the additional wire would add resistance. Wigwag, I know. I am so confused by this. Iowa Scaled Engineering said add wire. So I added wire. And that's the result. So I do think that there's some electronics in the locomotive that are causing the motorman to fault. Yeah. The motorman circuit detects some problem and it faults out. I didn't talk to them on the phone. It was just via email. So I'm going to... So how is it not the loco, though? So this is the part I don't understand. Is I can throw any other HO locomotive up there except for this scale trains, and it'll run the whole length without the addition of the wire. So how is it not the locomotive? Well, and I don't know exactly how much, So if the new locomotive draws less current, why would it show a fault? That's the part that confuses me, is that it faults out. Yeah, the speed's completely controllable. And it's DC, right? So it's just sending a DC signal. It's not DCC. This is just DC. There's a cap on the locomotive where you would put the decoder in, and I pulled that cap off. Let's look inside the loco. I don't know how to get the whole body of the locomotive off. I just took the little cap off. So you think So Roy, you think reconnect the wires back the way they were and just turn the locomotive up? I will tell you, I've actually tried that. I have tried it, and it didn't. Do any of your other trains run okay with the added wire now? That's a good question. Let's see if the New York Central runs with the added wire. I mean, I don't know, you know. What could go wrong? I'm going to cause a crash in a second. I've tried this at like multiple different speeds, and I've tried I used a completely different track, all kinds of different things I tried to get this to to work, and I don't know, I don't know, but the New York Central runs fine. So it's Kenny Miss Jr., like a starter on a car. If I run a small wire, there will not be enough current to make it work, but larger wire, yes. Right, 100%. But where it gets confusing to me is that I didn't remove the thinner wire. I left the wire that was there already. So, yeah, so it would be dimmer because it's running on DC, so we're basically splitting the load between the two of them. So, yeah, I mean, I'd love to thank you, Wigwag. Yeah, I spent probably at least 8 hours or so flipping the track around, reconnecting things. I hooked a meter up to it and everything, and I was metering it. The motorman itself does show when there's a fault, so you could see when there's a fault. I didn't actually, John. That's an interesting thought, to see if I fed it with like a higher amperage power supply or something, if that would work. But adding wire provided enough wire to carry the current. Yes, but only during that section, right? It still had to pass through the short wire at the beginning and at the end. Yeah, all I had to do was run the New York Central. Exactly. Yes, the power is feeding just the end that it gets within 2 feet of and stops. I tried feeding it from the center. I tried feeding it from the other end. No matter where I fed it from, it would always stop with the scale train's locomotive within 2 feet of the end of the track. I'm going to guess, I need to email, and I will, I'll email them back, Iowa Skilled Engineering back, and saying, yeah, like that was the issue. I added some wire and it worked. Like, why? Like, explain it to me. Joe's going to bed. It's funny, it didn't like that comment, Joe. I don't know why. We all know you're an old fart. No, Rail Artist. This is DC. That scale train's locomotive is DC. This New York Central locomotive is DC. That's what I'm running is DC. That's what I don't understand. I could understand if it was DCC. It was shorting. No sirens tonight. Although when I came to work this morning, they were cutting trees right outside the window, which is faulty DC. It could be. It could be. I think it is. I think it has something to do with the light board inside. Really? I'll let's come over here. There is oh, I didn't realize this was the camera I had live. I wasn't paying attention. So this little cap comes off here, and you can see inside it's got a whole bunch of electronics, which for a I feel like that's a lot of electronics for a DC locomotive. And I believe this is the only DC locomotive that I have that has this much electronics in it for only being a DC locomotive. Most of that is for when you plug in a decoder. Yeah. So it's DCC ready. It's got a 21 pin. Yes. Right. It's got the 21 pin thing. But I guess what I'm wondering though is, because the power is feeding through this to be DCC ready, is that what might potentially be causing the fault? Yeah, and Lynn, again, like, I don't get it. Like, why does that New York Central run without any issue? The only difference is it doesn't have all this stuff. I can pull any DC locomotive, HO scale locomotive, off the shelf, and they all run fine except for this brand new fancy one. So, yeah. Rayron, are you saying the electronics inside this make a big difference with DC? There has to be a cold solder joint there. That's an interesting thought. I have not pulled this apart to see. Yeah, so right, and that's what I don't know is, what sort of mess does this put on the system? Norman Rose says, brilliant deduction, Sherlock. I don't know which Sherlock he's talking about. Roy says, I don't think it's a cold solder joint. Oops, sorry. There we go. Yeah, I mean, this is what I think. It's likely that's what I think is happening, and I think adding the additional wire causes enough resistance to smooth out the DC that the motorman's sending out that it doesn't detect it as a fault. This. So I built this box, right? This is the DCC Concepts Alpha Meter. And I wanted to use it with the motorman. It doesn't work with the motorman. So why would the extra wire be changing anything then? If the extra wire isn't smoothing it out, I don't know if there's adjustable resistors, but I'm curious. Yeah, what Heath just said, whatever that was. I'm very curious whether Iowa Scaled Engineering is going to tell me to add resistors or capacitors or something. The fact that it's DCC ready, and that's what I think as well. I think that's what it is. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Adding the wire changes the resistance. Can the motorman tell you the amperage? It can't, or at least I don't. I lied. It can tell you the amperage. So right now, it's 0.08 amps with the with the New York Central locomotive. Thanks, Container Man. Appreciate you being a member. I do not see a bypass switch. I don't. Because Container Man posted this, I'm going to 40-second video just thanking my YouTube members, thanking my Patreon members, thanking my sponsors. If you want to join, I would love to have you as one of the members. And if you read into the question that I asked, the poll question, something special is coming for my members. So think about that. Hi, Norman. What did I miss? What was the light bulb moment? I feel like I missed something. My eyes are resisting staying awake. Good night, all. Resistance is what my wife throws at me from time to time. So right now I've got, you can kind of make out there's both the New York Central and so the New York Central and the scale trains they're both on the track right now. And the amperage with both of them on the track is 0.38 amps. So the New York Central and the SP together are 0.38. Just the New York Central was 0.08. I tried catching it and I almost knocked stuff off the track. So just the SP is 0.28. So 0.28 amps for the SP, 0.08 amps for the New York Central. You can combine them together, you get 0.38 amps. Mike said, I had a light bulb moment once. Late night trip to the bathroom. Thank goodness for that one. Yeah. Oh, that fact you tested the amps. Yeah, I forgot that it showed the amperage, but oh, so why don't we try this? I'll remove the extra wire and I'll see what the amperage is with the extra wire removed. Yeah, I don't let's so here, let's do this. Let's look up Iowa Scaled Engineering, IOWA Scaled Engineering, the Motor man. Motorman. Yeah, not much, Joey, not much. Yeah, Rick said the same thing. So let's see. Adjustable acceleration operates up to 6 accessory decoders based on selectable trigger events, which I don't have any of that in there. Does it say? Here we go. It comes with a 12 volt, 3 amp power supply. So, yeah. So Joey wants to know what I'm working on. I'm working on trying to figure out why this scale train doesn't work. So let me, just for fun, just because we're having a good time, I'm going to go pull the wiring out that I added, and I'm going to look at the amperage with the wiring pulled out. Do people like that idea or don't like that idea? Good idea, bad idea? I'm going to move. Oh, sorry. I know. I'm trying to get this camera. I'm trying to get this camera in a place where you can see the manual focus. Let's just wake it up. Can we see that? I don't think. Can't see that. That's not working. That's not working. And oh no. Oh no. Oh, there we go. Well, you're not gonna be able to see it. Sorry. I tried. So I'm gonna remove that wire though. What did Ray Elton say, Rick? The power supply doesn't determine the amps that the motorman board. Correct. Understood. I just know that the power supply is a 3 amp power supply, so I gotta believe that a 1/4 of an amp isn't what's causing issues. Heath, here's an idea. Send the engine back and get one that works. It works, just with extra wire. What the amp's drawing is it approaches and then stops as it changes. It doesn't change. It's 0.29 amps now. Let's see. I'm going to watch it and see when it gets closer. Yeah, no, it doesn't go up. It just goes down. Am I getting 12 volts on the track? Oh, no. I'm not getting 12 volts on the track because I'm running it at 50%. So I'm probably only getting 6 volts on the track. Metering needs to be on the screen, not the room. I'm not exactly sure what that means. But So it's 4.5 volts DC at the track. Yeah, I'm troubleshooting the SP. I'm gonna remove this wire that I added. So I added this jumper wire, and adding this jumper wire allows the SP to travel the whole length. When I did not have this wire in, it stops. So let's I'm swapping this back. So we're plugging it in again, and you'll see stops in the same spot again. So let's yeah, that was Sherry, 100%. That's what I was waiting for. So I'm gonna back it up. Steven, it's not DCC, it's DC. It's a DC locomotive, not DCC. Oh, caps and resistors combined. But adding wire only adds resistance. It doesn't add capacitance. So let me move that and check the amperage real quick. So let's put this back. So 0.29. So where it stopped right now, it says 0.12 amps. So it's not showing a fault, it's just showing 0.12 amps. So the amperage is now lower. So if you guys want to see, I'll turn the speed up. So just for fun. So I'm at 100% right now. So I was at 50%. Oh, name is that Rebel. It's I thought it was Mike or Dominic. Wasn't it Mike or Dominic? Or am I remembering it I could be remembering it completely wrong. Okay, so I went from 50% to 100%, and now it's at 0.24 amps. So that when it went across the railer, it showed a fault, and then after it stopped, it got off. So Roy's saying it's already in fault though, but it doesn't say fault. It literally the motorman literally says fault when it's in fault, literally. Oh yes, it's Mike and Dominic. I thought you just said your name wasn't Mike or Steve. Name it. Oh, is Mike not Steve? Was I calling you Steve? I'm sorry. So I'm unplugging it. Unplugged. Plugging it back in. Yeah. Yeah, definitely my fault. Every time I plug and replug it, it resets the sensors. Reversing the direction of the loco, we can try that. Why not? Is anyone else impressed I haven't knocked over the Z or the N scale yet? Did you see what fell? It's the blame Heath one fell. Stops in the same spot. Mr. Pictovid saying, literally, here's a super chat. Thank you so much, Mr. Pictovid. Really appreciate the support. Yeah, Roy, I really want to hear what the guys have to say. Pick up the SB unit, spin it 180, run it that way. Yeah. Get ready to catch them if they fall. Yeah, because they probably will now. So I'm going to add the wires back in because try adding a smaller amount of wire. Let's should I add thin wire? Let's see what I got here. Let's see what I got in this pile of mess. So let's take apparently these wires are all tangled. All right, so these are about the same length. Oh, interesting. Interesting. Add one wire. Can you swap the controllers to the other one? I can, but the one's in DCC right now and the other's in DC. I don't think it's necessarily that. TSG Multimedia can't stay long, but I wanted to pop in because I always either forget or can't make it for other actual reasons. Need to eliminate the motorman. But the issue is the motorman. The problem's the motorman. If I eliminate the motorman, it works fine. Oh, so one of the other tests that I did is I ran it with a... Let me unplug this. One of the other tests that I did is that I ran it with a 9-volt battery. So it runs fine. Completely fine with the 9-volt batteries. Oh, not that. Sorry, hold on. Don't look at that again. I'm trying to figure out how to stop it. I meant to hit this one. I hit the wrong one. Marty, thank you so much. Really appreciate the super sticker. With that picture-in-picture, it looks like you're actually standing in the corner of the room. Don't listen to Rick running with a brake man. Okay, so Roy, do you want me to cut these short and only add like a foot of wire, or do you want me to add one wire of this full length? I mean, I guess I can do both, right? So here's this. Here's this. So I'm just adding one wire in. One wire this long. I'm just going to add on one side of this. So there we go. So there's just one wire in the middle. So let's try this. Interesting. So it went farther, but it still stopped short. It went farther, but still stopped short of the end. Before I cut these wires shorter, I want to see if it works with the thinner wire, right? Because the first wire that I started with, let's see if if you can tell. So the first wire that I started with was the thicker wire on the top, and now I'm using the thinner wire on the bottom. So let me see if it works with two long pieces of thinner wire and see. So for people that are just getting here, what's happening is that, let's try swapping to the other wire. I can do that too. So what's happening is that Scale Train's DC locomotive running on DC using the Iowa Scaled Engineering, it doesn't make it all the way to the end of the track until I add additional wire. I think I'm adding additional wire because it's adding resistance to the system, which for some reason is solving the problem. I don't know the answer, but I'll switch wires real quick just because let me switch wires first, then I'll add the two wires and see if that works. So we're gonna unplug it, we're gonna slide it down. We're going to switch the wires. So I did have the white one running direct, now I have the blue one running direct. This could shoot off in the opposite direction, but I'm not 100% sure. So now it's the wires are switched, so it's going in the wrong direction, the other direction. So now we'll see it. Yeah, John, that's what happens when you show up late. Yes, I'm extending the wires between the motorman and the track. Yep, stop. So it stopped short, stopped about half the length from where it stopped before. Yeah. Joey, late night model railroad, exactly. Adding length is usually exactly opposite of what you wanted. Yeah, so I don't have a better theory though. That's my problem. Mike, I keep calling you Steven or Dominic. I'm baffled too. So I'm gonna add the second piece of wire in. So adding the second piece of wire. I did that twice now. There we go. And this is why I love lever nuts, is because it makes it easy to swap wires. Drew Dude says, I blame the safety feature. So the solution is to use a pencil in the exhaust stack and just push it around that way, pretty much. So I've added two pieces of wire, right? Oh, that didn't work. Two pieces of wire of this length, and now it works fine. Right? So it's going to go down to that end. It's going to come back. Yeah, Roy, that's exactly what I think is happening, is the motorman is some sort of sensing circuit on the power lines, probably for detecting shorts and overloads, and that it's sensitive to the resistance. That is exactly what I think is happening. And that the additional wires, for whatever reason, is somehow fixing it. I can shorten these wires, but to be honest with you, I think it's just a matter of whatever length wire I put in, that's the additional length that it's going to run on the track. Gus Hadley and the Lunatic from Arno says, hey, Heath, you can make it happen in a small space. Great looking switching layout. Yeah, if people haven't answered the poll yet, check out the poll. We got 66 votes. The question was, do you like model railroad shunting puzzles? Yes, and I would like to operate one. 58%. Yes, but just to watch others is 14%. And 29% of people said no. So what I'm thinking of is I've got a corner, oh, that's not what I wanted. I got this corner over here. Right now that's, got switches and track, but there's no power going to it. So my thought is that I'll put power to it and I'll make that a little switching puzzle over there. Rayron, I do not have any other DCC ready engines. Every other engine I own is gone. John, to get the poll back, refresh your browser, and it'll come back when you pop it back up again. Dennis from Otter Creek in Rio Grande says he has another. I'm assuming he says he's talking about having another DCC engine to test. That last percentage have no. Some people just like running trains. Like I love just having the trains running back and forth on that shelf back there. There's something very sort of relaxing about it. Just going back and forth. What's not relaxing is trying to understand what in the world is going on with that SP locomotive. Dennis was talking about the switching puzzle. Now I can't remember what. Oh, you have one. Oh, you have a switching puzzle. Have you shown it on your layout? Because I think that would be fun to show it on your layout. Probably because running HO trains in DC is antiquated and it'll work better as a DC loco. Yes. If I buy a sound decoder, it's another $100 some odd. So, yeah. Resistance is futile. Rick, it's the resistance. Thanks to you, I'm going to set one of these up in the hobby room. Are you talking about one of these shelf layouts back and forth? Steven, Wigwag Workshop, I don't know if you saw I did the videos on the AR2, which is what I'm using with the Z-scale decoder, but I'm also using the Motorman for the DC, for the HO and the N scale. Yes. I know it doesn't have to be a sound decoder. I know it doesn't have to be, but if I have an SP locomotive and I don't put a sound decoder in it, I'm gonna have to hear about it from the train freak from now until the end of time. So I kind of feel like I have to put a sound decoder in it just because I don't know if the train freak will let me have one that's not. So that overhead shot, I can see the horizontal flicker from the lighting. Oh, yeah? From this one? Oh, yeah. I can, too. Alexa, set floodlights at full. Yeah, that is that's the only webcam that I have right now in my setup. And that webcam is, it's a cheap little layout, or a cheap little webcam. So, oh no, wait a second. No, I'm sorry. I lied. This is the webcam, which I also see the flickering in. Interesting. Alexa, turn off the floodlights. Is the flickering gone now? I think the flickering should be gone now. The floodlights that I have up there are cheap LED lights that I got when I first started streaming, and just haven't had a chance to replace them yet. And they, unfortunately, the LED lights just cause some flicker. So Hammond, Rick's gonna stop talking to my Alexa. So John from TSG wants to know how many cameras now. So I've got the camera on the top shelf, which is for the G and the O scale stuff. I've got the camera on the low shelf for the switching stuff. And then I also started, I've got a bunch of these ESP32 cams that run off a 5-volt DC. So the little inset camera with the low frames per second, that's one of these little $10 guys. So that's what that lower one is, and that's why there's a little bit of flickering. Yeah, it's gone because it's those LED lights are awful. There are other LED lights in this room that are not flickering. It's those specific LED lights. Okay, so TSG, so that's 4. We've got the overdesk light, which is overdesk camera to kind of, I don't know, like if this is the top shelf and this is the lower shelf, I did this one to kind of do the room. I got this is the jib shot, which is the, this camera there. And then I've got my face camera, which is the face camera. So I don't know how many cameras that is. I have this scene too, but it's only got the 4 cameras. It doesn't have some of the other ones built in. So let's see. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think it's 6. It's 6, but I've got 4 of these guys, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set these up on the upper track, so when I'm running stuff, you get other views. The frames per second aren't great, but I think it sort of adds to the whole picture. Alexa, install a tsunami decoder.
Sorry I couldn't understand, but I may have a few recommendations. There's a skill called Tsunami Fax. Would you like to try it?
Alexa, stop. Sorry, Split Rock, didn't work. Speaking of lighting, what's the best place to get good daylight balanced LED lighting? My first question, Joey, would be, what's your budget? If you've got a lot of money, you go to like B&H, which I know that's, you as a photographer would know, and, get Kino flows, or something like that. These guys are the Elgato key lights, which are pretty decent. And then up top there, I've got some newer LED lights or LED soft boxes that are much cheaper, but yes, some of the cheap Amazon stuff is generally okay, but the those cheap floodlights, you see the flicker. Yeah, Joey, I understand that. I know about all that stuff. So the reason that she has a male voice is, for a while I had her set up as Ziggy, and I was calling her Ziggy, but then she wasn't responding very much to Ziggy. She didn't like it. So I switched it back because that word seems to work really well. So the long and short of B&H is that that I don't know if I want to get into this too much, but B&H doesn't treat their employees very well. That's ultimately the gist of it. Oh, what did I miss? I missed something here. What did Creepy say? In The Perfect Storm, the movie The Perfect Storm? What kind of camera can I use for streaming that will focus from 50 feet away? Wow, that's pretty far. I would get, Mr. Pictovid posted a link to a Panasonic camera that's like $200. and it's a camcorder. It's got 50 times zoom. I would get something like that. I don't know if you're still here, Andrew, but if Mr. Pictovid's still here, he may have taken off. He posted it a couple weeks ago when we were talking about inexpensive cameras, and it was a good thing. Yeah, exactly, Steve. And it's hard these days. Oh, I loved Quantum Leap. Quantum Leap was so good. I know, Joey. I know. I'm Artie, Heath just called you creepy. No, I was looking for creepy. I didn't see his comment. Then I saw. I know. Seems to me any camera focuses well. I'm assuming what he meant is a camera that's 50 feet away that you could actually see something. The Panasonic would connect to the computer with a HDMI to. Oh, there we go. This one. It's like $200 used or $250 new. And this is what Mr. Pictovid uses on his like layout videos. So if you want to see what it looks like, that's that. The Panasonic would connect to the computer with an HDMI to USB device. Yeah, there you go. You could just yell out Alex and then add the kind of at the end, and then, you know, maybe it would work. The HDMI to capture card that I like, let me bring it up real quick. I know Roy Eltham got one. Roy, have you hooked that up yet? Have you checked it? Let's do it this way. I use it for my layout video. Oh, you use it for your live stream too. I didn't realize it was on your live stream too. Yeah, exactly. It's a 16:9. It's a 1080p 60 camera. There we go. Roy, the EVGA XR1, which you can see right here. EVGA XR1 light. Get the light. EVGA XR1 light. It's like $55 ish. You can see. Oh, it's being used by another thing. I can't do it. But it gives you 1080p 30, I believe, at a decent bit rate. That's one of the things with a lot of cheaper capture cards is the bit rate. Well, the frames per second's low, but the bit rate's also low. The XVGA XR1 is really decent. It's got very low latency. The lens on this camera here. This is a 24-105 f4. Oh, it will do 1080p 60? I couldn't remember. So, yeah. Oh, and if people don't know about this website, check this website out. This is called webcamtests.com. It can do simple things like just a camera viewer, but it also can do like test webcam. So for example, here I know which one I can test. OBS virtual camera. So I'm using OBS virtual camera. So it's bringing in the screen, bringing in the camera, and it should show over on the left here. It'll show you all the frame rate and stuff. Good night, John. Thanks for coming by. DB Tech, you can tell StreamYard to do you have to pay for it, but yes, it'll do HD video at the highest paid account. It only does 720p on all the other accounts. I'm using HDMI to USB, but it squishes the video to 4:3 using StreamYard. DB Tech, let me know what camera you're using and what HDMI to USB thing you're using, and let's take a look and see. Let's see. For creating daylight with LEDs, I use LED strips of two types: 5630 SMD warm, cool white, 300 LED, and 2835 SMD 600 LED white, warm white. Two strips of each with their own dimmer. The DigiKeys make something called the DR4050, which is a light strip that can do day-to-night transitions and stuff like that, which is pretty cool. So let's look at, yeah, 4 a.m. does come quick. Good night, Marty. See you later. So we can look here. Let me try and make this bigger for people to see. So this is the OBS virtual webcam. It's 60 frames per second, 1080p. So that's what I'm sending out of OBS at a bit rate of 44.4. Wow, that's pretty high. Please post the okay, give me 1 second, I'll post it up. And then it takes an average of the RGB colors and it gives you a breakdown of the RGB, but 44.4 megabytes per second. I probably don't need it to be that high, but this is this webcamtests.com website, and I think it just does a fantastic job of giving you the real specs on what your cameras are pulling in. Might be converting the device I'm using. Yeah, that's what I'm wondering, if it maybe his adapter is, or maybe it's yes, the free StreamYard does 720p 30 frames per second at 2,500 kilobytes per second. So the bit rate is 2,500, which is, it's okay for 720p, but it's not great. Yeah, so Elgato, I have, I still have that. I have an Elgato Camlink 4K. I have an Elgato HDS 60 Plus, but Epos Vox did tests on that ERK1 Lite, and it's got the lowest latency out of any of those. So for 50 some odd bucks to have that, to have a lower latency device with a pass through is pretty good. Yeah, Roy, couldn't agree more. 720p, I do 4,000. So StreamYard also at 1080p 30 does 6,000 kilobytes per second. I'm streaming at 1080p 60 at 85 kilobytes per second. So, yeah. What is it again? What is what? 720p 30 at 25. 1080p 30 at 6,000. What's the other card? Is the XR blah 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 blah. It's called the XVGA XR1 Lite. That's Amazon. I'm gonna post a link. XR1. So the link I'm going to post is an affiliate link. So if you're going to buy one, I would love it if you used the affiliate link, just because, you know, I'm like that. But if you want to see more about it, Epos Vox does some testing on it. It's a lot cheaper than the Elgato ones. It's $45 right now on Amazon, and you can, at least for me, it would deliver by Wednesday in 2 days. So, yeah, so that's the link. Just follow that link, and it'll take you there. Yeah, DB Tech. So I have a couple of those cheap ones too, and I just these them? No. Well, I can't find it right now, but I bought a couple of those $10, $50 ones as well when I was first starting, and they now live in the bin in the back because they do. Here's the EVGA thing. What link did you want, Roy? Oh, I know what you wanted. I gotcha. KEIJS DR 4050. Let's So this is a DCC controlled device that can do data light transitions with RGB lighting. And what's pretty cool about it is you can hook it up to like a fast clock or something, and you could have it controlled by your fast clock to do your day to night transitions, which I think is pretty cool. Yeah, so there was a period in time where everyone was saying that the really cheap capture cards were okay. They're okay, but that the link I posted to that XVGA capture card, this one that's linked right now, for $45, it's significantly better. Yes, the Elgato ones that I have will work, but I would recommend the one that I would recommend this one. Exactly. Split Rock is asking Rick if he's writing this all down. Rick and I actually go back and forth. Rick has surpassed me in a lot of areas with his streaming. His intro he's got is multifaceted. The way he triggers his streams, he's got logos and spinning and all kinds of stuff. So yeah, Rick's doing pretty darn good with his stream stuff. And we chat. People hit me up on Facebook Messenger or on Discord or on WhatsApp, and we yeah, I know this gets... Yeah. I know that technically 720p is standard HD, but it's SHD, it's not HD. What's the difference between the XR1 and the XR1 Lite and the XR1? I have no idea. I don't know the answer. I'm gonna guess a lot more money. Let's see, XR1. I'm trying to. So the EVGA XR1 capture card, 4K pass through. It's 1080p 60 as well. Advanced pass through lets you switch to 1440p. So if you're gaming, if you're doing a lot of gaming stuff like Roy Eltham is, maybe you would want this for the pass through at the higher rate if you're doing a lot of gaming. But yeah, I would just get the Lite. I would recommend the Lite. Yeah, this even does 1080p 60 while you game at 4K 60. So there's no reason for anybody in our community to get anything more than the XR1 Lite. Yeah, only matters if you have a 144 hertz monitor, which maybe you do, and if you're into gaming, that's another conversation. But I don't think I would just get this one that I've got up on the screen, and that I've posted the link to a couple times. So when I was growing up, we didn't have HD. We had binoculars to peep into windows instead of watching their streams. So a little bit of a funny story. When I was in college, the girls that lived across the hall from me had Post-it notes on their window. And I couldn't figure out at first what the Post-it notes were for. But then you started reading them, and they were like descriptions of the people in the windows on the other side. So if you stood in a certain spot, all of the windows across the the courtyard were were labeled. They had labels for everybody. High resolution for slow moving trains is a must. I would argue it's frame rate more than resolution, and then I would argue it's bit rate over frame rate over resolution. Uh, TSG Multimedia is streaming to his OnlyFans later tonight. I think that's what he's saying. And the XR1 is just to hook up the camcorder. The XR1 Lite, yes, is just to hook up the camcorder. The need for speed, I agree. Yeah, all the frame rate stuff, bitrate stuff, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, Roy, I agree. 1080p 60 at a high bitrate is going to be better than 4K 30 in a lot of cases, primarily because well, here's another poll question for people, but how many people are watching this on their phones right now? You know, that's something that, I don't know why. I think the XR1, yeah. Yeah, no audio on the XR1 Lite. I just had to look at it. Yeah, and I don't know, you know, what, you don't need mic input. So, yeah, see, Joey's on a phone. So, you know, 4K 30, whatever. And then you've got John from TSG Multimedia watching on a 5K monitor. How does it look in 5K, John? I'd be curious. I'm going to assume you're watching this in 1080p 60, which hopefully looks somewhat decent. I just realized that I hit the wrong button. So that's should just yeah. Wait, sorry, I just missed it. Frame rate over bit rate over resolution. I would say the other way. Bit rate over frame rate over resolution. The higher the bit rate, the higher the frame rate. Whatever. I can't watch YouTube on my phone. YouTube doesn't even like 1080p 30. Sometimes. I'm watching on my laptop because it's too much pain to chat on the phone. That's why I watch on my laptop too. Lynn's watching on a 26-inch screen. What about a PCI HDMI capture card? I will answer that question in 1 second, Dragon Ball. Roy, you're watching on 3 4K monitors, but you don't have me on each of the 3 monitors, I'm hoping, because that would be frightening. Yeah, gaming laptop's good. Yeah, it's fine without going full screen. Because 5K is dumb. Roy is watching it on 3 4K monitors. I get that now. Yeah, I'll watch these back sometimes on my 4K TV, and it looks good. So there you go. Thomas is getting it now. He's taking notes for people. So Dragon Ball Tech was asking about PCIe cards, and the PCIe card that I want to get is the Elgato one, but I wouldn't get it unless you need 4 HDMI inputs, which I do because I'm a little bit of a nutcase. Yeah, 720p 60 on a phone is great. I'm watching at 240p. Yeah, I do that sometimes too. Yep. 4 input Elgato Uber card, which is this guy right here, the Camlink Pro. This is the one I want, but I've already got money invested in the other ones. Thanks for coming, John. I've already got money invested in the other Elgato stuff, and yeah, I could sell it off to get this capture link card. Up to 2 HDMI inputs, I would get the XR-L1 things, or whatever they're called. But this is a good, this is a really good card. Yes, this is about a $359 card, I think it is, on Amazon. So, Roy, I think you already left. So, okay. How much is that? I believe it's $359 on Amazon. Let's see. Elgato Cam Link. Oh, Amazon. Yeah, so it's $359.99. So this is the Elgato Cam Link Pro. Z looks okay. What is he doing? Come on, guys. He can't look any better on a fancy screen. I know. I look pretty terrible on an iPhone, so yeah, but so this is the card, $360. It's a great card. It's a great card, but yeah, Split Rock. So this is a Nexigo, however you say it, $50 webcam, and it's fine for this shot. You know, it's not great detail. You know, I can see it. It's low bit rate. It's low frame rate. It's somewhere between 20 to 24 frames per second. Yeah, Rick, you need to use this card. Let's go back to this. To use this Elgato card, you need to have a graphics card that is a GTX. I think a GTX 1060 or higher graphics card. This card utilizes the graphics card for the rendering and stuff. So yeah, it's not something you buy to put in a card. Z Fantasy Trains, I've heard that the older you get, the more your Nexigo gets up and went. Rick, yeah, you need the correct slot free. It's only a PCIe 4 slot is all you need. It's not even 8 slot, but the reason it's only a 4 slot is because you need it doesn't have its own graphics processing. You need the. Now I want to look it up because now I don't know. I believe it's a 1060 or higher, but let me check. Technical specs. Nope, that's not what I wanted. Sorry, I'm looking for the. Oh, here we go. System requirements. So you need a PCIe 4, 8, or 16 slot. It only uses up 4. CPU, you need a 6th generation Intel Core or an AMD Ryzen 7 or better. And for a GPU, you need a GTX 10XX, so either a 1060 or a 1080 or better. So you can't just throw it in another machine. Lots of machines don't have 4X slots. That's true. If you have a small case, you don't. Rick says, I don't even know what that means. Rick, you're an IT guy. How do you not know what that means? Heath, your SP needs another one to consist with. It looks lonely. Yeah. Oh, there you go. Tim says I need a cotton belt to run it with. All I heard Elmo say is this show is sponsored by the letter G. So, yeah, I gotta say it was a bit of a mystery, this conundrum tonight with the locomotive. But Container Man, I hope you're not driving as you're falling asleep. But thanks for coming, appreciate it. Yeah, a Mac G5 might be a little beyond its. The New York City has a buddy. Unfortunately, they're both DC, and they are way off in terms of speed, so I couldn't actually run them. Yeah, Cameron, the reason why so much is required is because the Camlink Pro card is just it's just capturing the signal. It's not doing anything. So Sparky wants everyone to check their phones. So everyone, check your phone. James, I know they are. I don't know what you guys are talking about. Oh, Sparky, I've actually looked at these. I've looked at those. I know Sparky just sent me a link for, let me see if I can find it. I thought about picking one of these up at one point in time, and I didn't end up doing it because it's manual focus, which might work for a lot of applications. I guess I just let me just show this clip. This is a decent option for layout cameras. I'd be curious. I mean, if someone buys one, I'd love to see how they work. They can be powered off of a power bank, which is kind of cool. But yeah, HDMI output. I'd be curious to check those out. I haven't checked them out, but I've seen them before, and they come with different lenses, so you get different lenses depending on what you need. This is the wide angle lens. They've got the telephoto lens, and then they've got the sort of the medium lens. So yeah. I didn't mean to derail your conversation about your train, but it's interesting talking about cameras and capture devices. Yeah, unfortunately, I started talking about the camera stuff, which I normally keep to the Wednesday nights, but I love this stuff too. Like, I just I have a good time talking about camera stuff as well. So what are you guys talking about? 400s, 600s, and all that kind of stuff? Yeah, there you go. Can you use your Minolta bayonet lenses with it? I think it's it uses the CCS mount, which is pretty popular for security cameras, the CCS mount. So no, not your... You're talking about Ataris. Oh, that's awesome. Why don't you guys talk about Amigas? I love Amigas. Those are pretty hardcore. I had an Atari 2400. Is the Atari that I have. Yeah, I think a lot of people here enjoy it. Some do, some don't, but yeah, I like the Tech Talk. No, do you really, Roy? Roy says he's still got his Amiga 2500. That's awesome. That's cool. Tim, all you need is this phone. I mean, I've done some walkabouts around the city with a phone, with a smartphone. You don't need any more. You definitely don't need any. Oh, there we go. Adam's dropping some old school right there. ColecoVision. The first computer-ish thing we ever had was from Radio Shack was Pong. It was this like controller with another little dial that could disconnect, and we used to play Pong for a while. Texas Instruments 994A. Atari 7800. I never got... Oh, yeah, sorry, 2600. That's what I meant. That's what I meant. Still have an old Konica T4 laying around. My father taught me photography on that thing. That's cool. The first camera I think I ever used really was probably a Brownie, which is kind of a lot of fun. Yeah, Roy had that Radio Shack Pong. I actually liked Radio Shack Pong almost more than Atari. I just wasn't good at... I wasn't good at the Atari stuff. I'm not good at gaming. Timex Sinclair 1000. I don't... Was that before or after the Radio Shack TRS 80 Model 1? I'm not familiar with that one. Yeah, 2K of RAM. I know, right? Did it have a cassette tape? Or did it run off of spinning media? Minolta 35mm. There's 100% manual for Mike over at Cascade Southern. Steven, yep, a 110. I used to have a, one of those little thin guys that you'd put the 110 in. But you gotta like the 220 of the Brownie too. I mean, that was kind of fun, and the lens that didn't focus or anything. It just what it was. Probably had 3. Yeah, Mr. McTovid, for getting started. I mean, that's the setup you have is great. That Panasonic, when you showed that Panasonic the last time we were talking about that Panasonic, I almost went and bought one, but I bought these little $10 ones instead. So, that's there you go. Robert Darby had the Commodore 128, not the 64, but the 128. Nikon people, get out of here. No, it just happens that all my stuff is Canon. It's just what I started with in photography. So I've got a bunch of the lenses and stuff. So it's just kind of still what I have. If anybody wants to join the email list, I send out 1 email a week currently. I send it out about an hour before Modeling Monday. And it's just kind of a list of stuff that I've done from the past week. And it talks a little bit about what's going to happen for Modeling Monday. So if you want to join the club, it's not really a club, but if you want to join the list, check out that link. Yeah, Mr. McTovid, I came close. Yeah, that's an awesome camera, the Canon 5D Mark IV. When I started this YouTube channel, I started it with a Canon 5D Mark II as my face camera. Right now, my face camera is a Canon M52, but it started out as a 5D Mark II running Magic Lantern so that I could get clean HDMI out of it. I have Canon too, but my SLR film and digital is a Nikon. Yeah, Cascade Southern, Joey, which is Late Night Model Railroads, also a Nikon guy. I started in the darkroom as well, not at home though. I started the darkroom at like a camp I went to. It was, I think, the first time. Yeah, we've kind of, I mean, it's 11:30. I think we've kind of switched over from Modeling Monday to Tech Wednesday. The first Canon 5D before it, I guess the 2, which added the video, which was, yeah. Oh, I got, actually, no, I didn't have the original. I got the Mark II. That's all I got. Yeah. Wigwag's also Nikon. So for people wondering that like the Tech Talk, what we're going to be doing on Wednesday is going to be a little bit similar to what I did on some of the first Wednesday night tech shows. If you go back to those, or if you remember those, I was working on what was at the time called OBS Ninja. It's now called Video Ninja, but it's bringing guests in without using something like StreamYard. So I've got a little bit more. Yeah, so this was Tech Talk from the start because I was going to do the SP Locomotive thing on Wednesday, but just because of all the computer stuff and whatever, we did that tonight. And then on Wednesday, we're going to do the... Why is it doing that? On Wednesday, we're going to do some more tech stuff with OBS and getting some of that working. So on Wednesday night, I'll need some volunteers to come up and join the stream to test the system, to see basically if I can make it work or not. Oh, nice. Roy's going to be traveling for family for Thanksgiving. Yeah, what are people doing for Thanksgiving? I'm actually, for Thanksgiving, I'm going to friends. They're friends that we do a lot of sort of holiday stuff with, like people that stay in New York City. These are, there's a group of us that kind of hang out together. Oh, wow. James says he has over 100 film cameras. But yeah, so that's what, so I'm doing that for Thanksgiving. So I'm staying in town. So I will be doing Wednesday night. Yeah, I'll need volunteers. I'll post a link and I'll post a password, and I'll need people that can Oh, there we go. Lynn's wife is having a birthday. Yeah, Lynn, you better miss the stream to hang out with your wife. That might be bad. Andrew, we might have. So, yeah, so I'll post a link, I'll post a password, and I'll ask people to log in and see if we can stress out my computer, basically. And see if we can crash it. Cascade Southern Model Trains is going to my adopted mom's place and enjoy family. Roy Eltham is driving 3 hours up to mom's. Oh, that's cool. I didn't know your mom was in California as well. Tim says he's sitting at home trying to not look at all the holiday posts on Facebook, same as every other year. Tim, I couldn't agree more with you. I avoid a lot of it. Late Night Model Railroad Joey says we're going to my wife's parents' place, the one place I like to drink to tolerate the environment. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Stephen Wigwag says family is traveling. I'm holding down the fort alone. I don't think I'm busy Wednesday night from Dragon Ball Tech. Probably see you then. That'd be awesome. Yeah, it'd be cool if you could jump up here. Edward Katie, I just got here. What happened? As for Thanksgiving, I'm doing nothing. Edward, we got that Southern Pacific running the whole length of the track. It wasn't running the full length of the track. I've also got my, what are they called? Constellation cars in from Microtrains. So those are running on that track. And then I've got a steam locomotive running on the Z-scale track. Cameron says he's down for crashing a computer. I like that as well. Yeah. I think Rick Foltz Bailey is agreeing with Joey on the drinking to help make the make things go easier. They swear as if those words were commas. They are. They're pauses, right? They're, you know, that's how it works. Well, I have to start wrapping things up. I've got a mess pile of stuff here that I need to clean up before I could head upstairs, and it is 11:30 and I do have work tomorrow. I hope everyone gets to enjoy Thanksgiving a little bit. You know, it's pretty darn amazing, the community we have, and I do think that the Model Railroad community on YouTube is something that we have to be thankful for. So, you know, I look forward to seeing you guys all over the holidays, and I will be back Wednesday. So until then, from the city that never sleeps, farewell, model citizens.
It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about you.